want to get into Steve Kerr. You want to get into Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, some more things that Draymond Green said. In terms of magnitude of an offseason, what are the big seminal off seasons in Bay Area sports history?
Where's the what?
What are the seminal off seasons? Because I could think of one off the top of my head that I think is the number one in terms of biggest offseason ever. It would be the Kevin Durant year because they got rid of Harrison Barnes and Andrew Bogut.
For just the Warriors or just in Bay Area
history. And then number two to me would be the 1994 offseason for the 49ers.
I was going to say that one is number one for me.
Yeah.
94 Niners is number one for me because of all the
More than Durant? Because they won two with Durant.
Yeah, because of all the players and the player stature. I mean, it wasn't just – you could say Dion was on that level of Kevin Durant in his respective sport.
He might have been a bigger star given the times than even KD, which is a wild sentence.
Which is a wild sentence. But you had Dion, you had Ken Norton Jr., you had Gary Plummer, you had Richard Dent, you had Charles Mann, you had Ricky Jackson.
Pat Swilling.
I mean, you had Ricky Jackson, not Pat Swilling.
Excuse me, Ricky Jackson. Yes, you're right.
So you had a lot. But the Durant, and I would say also, because I think in all season, it doesn't have to just be guys you sign, but guys who leave. And I think the Niners after 2014 when Harbaugh left, that all season was huge.
Justin Smith retires.
Yes. Patrick Willis retires. Frank Gore moves on.
Yeah.
I mean, you lose your head coach.
You essentially lost Kaepernick.
Right.
Even though it wasn't formal.
So I mean, yeah.
Chris Borland, didn't he retire after 1 year?
1 year. Wow. 1 year. He had that, what did he have? 20 tackles against the New York Giants. Remember that?
That interception still is one of my favorite interceptions of all time.
And he was gone.
God, that 2014 49er year, I mean, think about it. That was 10 years ago. Yep. It feels like 6 lifetimes ago.
So this offseason with the Golden State Warriors is just as big. Who do you bring back? Who do you move on from? Do you have to split up Jordan Poole and Draymond Green? Klay Thompson, what's his role? Here's what Steve Kerr had to say yesterday about whether or not he expects moves this offseason.
I don't think so. I think it's important for us to look at both what went wrong and also what went right. We really found ourselves in the playoffs, and obviously that comeback against Sacramento was really something. And you look at the Lakers series, and even though they were the better team and they beat us, we weren't that far off when you really look at it. So to me, it's more a case of let's reassess where we are. Let's everybody get better. Obviously, every off season you have to make some moves and adjust the roster, and you do some things. But I believe that this team, with this core, still has another run in it, and that means it doesn't mean an overhaul. It just means let's see what we got.
All right.
Do you believe that?
I don't know if I do. And then I don't know if I believe what Kerr said. Now, yesterday, that was on Willard and Dibbs. That right there, that quote.
What do you think when he says the core? What do you think he means?
Looney, Steph, Klay, Dre, Wiggins, and Poole. However, let's say Draymond didn't come back. Let's say he didn't come back. I want to know if you believe they could contend for a championship. Here's what Kerr thinks if Draymond doesn't come back.
If Draymond's not back, we're not a championship contender. We know that. I mean, he's that important to winning and to who we are. So I absolutely want him back. He's a competitor. He's an incredible defensive player. We can check all those boxes. And he and I have built a really special relationship that has run the gamut, over the years. We've had our share of run-ins, but we've been through so much. We really care about each other and work together well. He knows that he had a great season this year from a basketball perspective, but he knows that he also compromised things by what happened back in October. And so part of him coming back next year has to be about, rebuilding some of that trust and respect that he's earned here for a long period of time. And one thing I love about Draymond is he's always brutally honest, and he can take that sort of critique because he knows it's the truth. So I want him back. I think we all want him back. And hopefully that's exactly what happens. And we get ready to make another run next year.
So he believes the championship core still has a run at them, a championship run. And he believes they're not a championship contender if they don't have Draymond Green. If they don't have Draymond Green, they're not a championship contender. Now, what do you do to replace Draymond Green? I would be eager. Because I don't know about that. If I got the Draymond Green from Game 4 against Sacramento, Game 5 for Sacramento, yeah, okay, I'm with that. It's tough to move off from him. But I don't like
if I get Game 1 and 2,
right? But if I'm
Sacramento series,
I'm watching the Lakers and Nuggets last night. I'm thinking they didn't even guard Draymond Green, the LA Lakers, and the Nuggets would have done the same thing. Look how difficult it was for the Lakers to slow down the Nuggets by having to guard everybody. They had to guard everybody on the floor. And then later on, they decided, okay, Aaron Gordon, we're not going to really guard, but the adjustment will be made by Mike Malone. He at least had to guard 4 guys. And they got cooked. They got cooked for 70+ in the first half. I don't know, man. I don't know if I agree with that. Now, Coach knows hell of a lot more about basketball than me, and I respect Steve Kerr for being so honest. But I don't know about that, Shasky.
But we can disagree on things. I mean, look, Steve Kerr's great, and everyone has mistakes. Like, he thought Brad Wanamaker was going to be good. I didn't. You know what I mean? Like, that's just one example. But he's been right.
Bully ball, Brad.
He's been right 90-something% of the time. Like, the guy's batting average speaks for itself. But I just disagree with him on this one. I just do. Heading into last year, did I think that core you're referencing, that 6, was a championship core? I don't think I did. Klay was coming back from an injury.
Right.
I didn't really know if Wiggins could put it together for back-to-back years. You know, Jordan Poole hadn't had the ascension that he had.
Let's be real. They got a lot of breaks on that run.
No doubt.
Denver first round. You didn't have to play against Murray and Porter Jr. You just had no kids. That was a tougher 5-game series than what people remember. It was a tough 5-game series.
Outside of the KD years, I don't know if I could have thought. Now, I think 2015, 2016, after they won it the year prior, that was a championship core.
At 73-9, I mean, that may have been one of the greatest teams in NBA history.
Even when they won it all the first year, I didn't think they were a championship core.
They surprised us all. We hadn't seen it before.
The Miami Heat, when they lost in the play-in game, and they lost to Atlanta, you were like, they're
not making a run.
Right? So to do this thing like, we don't win without this guy, as long as you got Steph.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I think you can get around certain things. Does it make it harder? Probably. It probably does make it harder. But to just say, put a black marker through them, they're done, I'm not willing to do that.
Let me ask you.
That's where I disagree with Kerr.
Let me ask you. The Spurs championships. All 5. By the way, you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and AC1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. I want to ask you something real quick. Let's get David and Brentwood. He's been our hole for a long time. I want to get David and Brentwood and get to everybody else. I got something for you, Shasky. David, what's happening?
What's going on, guys?
What's up, David?
Hey, bud.
Man, so with the whole Klay thing, I'm kind of in the camp where you got Moody laying in the background, and Moody showed what he could do this year. And I'm thinking like Eddie D, trade him while you still can, while they still have value. If we can trade Joe Montana, everybody is tradable, including Klay. And I love Klay. It's hard for me to say. You also got to keep the young guys happy. So if you bring Dre back, you got to find minutes for Kuminga either way, because you don't want to lose the young guys. These are our future.
I hear you.
You know, it's interesting on the Klay Thompson thing, because like in the Joe Montana thing, because people say that a lot, only one quarterback gets to play. Right? And that was always like, okay, like, I get it. One quarterback gets to play. So I understand it. In basketball, everyone gets to play. Even guys that are iced out, like Dante DiVincenzo was horrible.
Right.
Still getting like 20 minutes a game in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So, like, Klay Thompson, okay, he's got to go. I think he's worth more. The same way we look at Draymond Green being more valuable to the Warriors, I think you can make the same different but similar argument about Klay being more valuable to this Warrior team than he would be elsewhere. Secondarily, just because his role evolves doesn't mean that I have to get rid of him.
Right.
Like he's not playing like he's a backup like Joe Montana would be.
What do we know in this league? You need to get buckets, right?
Yeah.
I know Klay Thompson can get buckets.
Yeah, I'm with you. Spacing.
Right? Spacing on the floor. Now, you could say he's washed. Not you, but people could say, I see it. Oh, he's washed. He washed. Well,
wash means you're done.
Well, when I see him score 22 and a half a game in the month of December, I see him score 27 in the month of January while shooting 46% and 43 from 3. When I see him averaging over 25 a game in February, when I see it dip down to 20 in March, however, he still shot 46% and 41 from 3, that screams that he's not washed. All right? 3 games in April, he averaged 24 and a half. So look at that. From January to April, he averaged damn near 24 a game. That's hard to do in the NBA. You heard Steve Kerr say it's hard to average 20 in the league like Jordan Poole did. That's hard to do. You need to get buckets. I don't think you can have a guy who holds the ball at the top of the key. But go ahead, Shaz, because I want to ask you something.
No, I'm glad you're bringing this up because hypothetically, do you fear Klay Thompson more if I just said I'm picking a random team here, the Clippers? It's Paul George, it's Kawhi Leonard, and it's Klay Thompson. Or it's Kawhi, it's Paul George, and it's Draymond Green.
Oh, you're fearing Klay Thompson more.
I am too.
Kawhi is guarding Draymond to get a rest on defense. Kawhi is guarding Klay Thompson. Is like, no, you know what? Somebody else go guard him because we still have to chase him off of screens. We still have to make him move. That's what Austin Reeves had to adjust. He was getting cooked in those first 4 games. Not getting cooked by buckets, but he was gas.
Yeah.
It's like, man, this is hard trying to stick with Klay Thompson running off all these screens. Well, let me ask you this. Because championship teams morph into different. Like, there was a different team with the Bulls in the first three-peat and the second three-peat. The second,
the
with
Spurs.
Rodman, the Spurs, every single championship.
The Chiefs.
The Spurs.
Yeah.
Look at the Spurs. David Robinson the first time around.
100%.
They played inside
Sean
out.
Elliott.
You know, the second championship there, it was led by Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
You had Ginobili ascending. You had Tony Parker ascending. You had Bruce Bowen in the corner. By the time they won their last championship, it was a complete ball movement. Kawhi Leonard coming in
Tim
as
Duncan
a two-way player.
Was their fourth best player?
Option, maybe.
Yeah.
Every team's different. The Kobe Lakers, Shaq and Kobe, different than Kobe and Gasol.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying.
And Kobe was different.
The Showtime Lakers morphed.
Yes.
The first iteration of the Lakers in the 80 and 82 was different from 85, 87, and 88. Those are different teams. You mentioned the Chiefs. What about the Niners?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Each team
They were
was
dramatically different from 81 to 89.
81 to 84.
Think about the Giants, 2010 versus 2014.
So check the
dramatically
teams.
different.
And you look at the Golden State Warriors. 2014-15 is different than the KD years.
Absolutely.
The KD years is different from last season's championship.
Absolutely.
So it's okay to morph and tinker on the fly. You're not going to look the same because it does get old. And think about it. The league has had time to adjust to the Golden State Warriors for all these years. It felt like they were starting to adjust to the Warriors this season, to their motion offense, to the way they played Draymond Green and Kevon Looney, saying, you know what? We're just going to sack off these guys, and we're going to just suffocate Klay and Curry on the perimeter, and we'll live with Draymond and Looney taking shots if they do want to take shots.
And I think that it's a great, astute point, and that's why I believe I was so encouraged in the 3 weeks of Moses Moody, because it's like, he could hit that, he could hit a shot.
He could hit a shot.
Because doesn't that change minutes for
Right.
someone like him? Doesn't
Absolutely.
it change your perception? Oh, he's going to take that 3 effortlessly, and he
Right.
can facilitate a little, and he can give me some defense.
Exactly.
Like, I'm looking at him, and I'm like, arrow up.
Yep.
Like, guys that are one-way players, yes, there's roles for them, but they're limited. Like Gary Payton Jr., we all like Gary Payton. He's limited.
And he was hurt this year.
He's limited.
He is limited.